I would say the way I differentiate is just learning to root myself in the Word of God. So looking at what God says I am, or who God says I am, not what society says I should be. And that's really just how I tend to move, really.
It's just not caring what people think, innit? You live this life for you. You have one life, just do your thing, and then, yeah, that's it.
I feel like once you know yourself, it becomes a lot easier for you to know the differences. I feel like why a lot of people may be confused about their identity is because there's so much influence and they're taking a lot from those influences. But once you take the time to get to know yourself, what is you stand for, your morals and what you allow and what you don't allow, it becomes a lot easier to differentiate between the two, what society has and what you are as a person. So I feel like for me, I've taken that time to know myself, and you know, as you go through life, you're still learning and still finding out more about yourself. So social media or society, it's just an addition.
It's just about finding out who you are and just realizing that like we're all great within ourselves. We don't have to copy one another to find greatness on this earth. Like the interests that we have, the identity God has given us, is all for a reason, and just about really becoming confident within who you are and just expressing it as best as possible. And once you just believe in that and you're able to express it to this fulfillment, you'll be great. You don't have to fit in with anyone else, honestly. People will just be able to feel your authenticity, your energy, and just feel your confidence, and they'll just be drawn to you. You don't have to try and go and please people. Just, all you gotta do is just serve people, honestly. Serve people, your identity, your interests, your ideas, and that's it, really.
I feel like time with yourself is very important. A lot of times nowadays, so many people rarely spend time by themselves to actually just think and meditate and actually just evaluate certain things. And you know, even if it's your family that's around you constantly or your friends, it can sort of distract you, because I feel like that personal one-on-one time where it's just you and God behind closed doors is what's truly important, and that's where growth actually happens.
Failure, I love failure. Only recently I love failure because I realised how important it is, because every time we fail, we learn so much lessons and data from that failure that we're able to then go and apply in the next iteration or next approach to whatever endeavour we're doing. It's like literally getting a step closer to wherever you're trying to go. So failure right now is something that I really want to just go and experience every day, because I know every time I fail and I'm smart about it, I actually go reanalyze that failure. I'm making progress, and it's there for a reason. Once I'm able to stack up all these failures, then I'll get to a point where I've learned so many lessons that I'm able to receive whatever God has planned for me from all these failures. It's like I literally made a quote today, or not even made a quote, but I thought something. It's like, things can't exist without duality. Like good can't exist without bad. Success can't, you can't understand good without understanding bad. So I can understand success without understanding your failures.
It's been the biggest teacher, and it's helped me gain like a lot of experience. So I would say like with jobs, I've done quite a few jobs. So it's helped me, it's exposed me to different environments. So it's like whenever a challenge like occurs, I'm ready to get hands-on and just get active.
Failure for me, I see it as a stepping stone to where I want to be and not a stumbling block. I think if I never tried certain things, I would have never made the mistakes, and I would never know if I could even do it in the first place. So for me, I tend to see failure as something that's going to help me get to where I want to be, because I'm definitely going to learn lessons along the way that I can then implement into whatever I'm doing moving forward.
Failure. I feel like failures can be two things. they're humbling and they're lessons type of thing, because in the sense that without failing, you wouldn't know what you need to improve on. And to be fair, I wouldn't say stuffs are failures. I feel like they're more like lessons that you didn't come across as yet, and now you're able to tend to that. So I feel like they are quite important. And I do find them fun and challenging, strangely enough, because it's like, oh, that's something I'm not good at. Let me, what can I do to get better type of thing. So for me, it's like motivation to do well, whereas other people, it can be quite, damaging in the sense that they don't know how to handle it. But if you think of everything as a challenge that you haven't accomplished yet, it becomes a lot easier to deal with those failures.
I'd probably say when I was younger, I faced quite a lot of rejection in terms of being told you're not good enough and stuff like that in terms of what you want to do. For example, I do music. There's been so many things that have broken down, and so many times people have said you're not good enough, and failure after failure. But I feel like that allowed me to understand that there is no certain recipe for success, and people always have something to say when they haven't even, been on the trials and the journeys that you've been on, so they wouldn't even know. It's always about what people think that you shouldn't really take to, because at the end of the day, you're on your own race.
Ooh, biggest challenge, I would say heartbreak. Yeah, 100% still. Because I've been through so many things, but that one is that when you give 100% to someone and then they just turn around and say, yeah, I'm done. It's just, it's very painful. It's very painful, but yeah, like God has helped me overcome that one. So yeah.
My biggest challenge has definitely been seeing my friendships change. So I guess leaving secondary school, I was really, really close to certain people, and I thought that those were going to be my friends forever, BFFs for life. But things happen, things change, people's priorities change. And yeah, it's just been realizing that the friends that I had in secondary school, even though we're not as close anymore, it's just because we all have our own separate journeys and we're all going on our own different goals, really.
The biggest challenge. I feel like the biggest challenge in your 20s is being comfortable in yourself, and not fitting in with the crowd. I feel like your 20s is such a time where you're trying to figure out yourself, your identity, what you want from life, that it's hard, to be fair, it's hard. So I feel like that's the biggest challenge.
Biggest challenge I've faced in my 20s is probably coming to terms that not everyone's going to be on the same journey, and obviously having to wait so long for things that you've dreamed about since you were a kid can also be a bit frustrating, and obviously it's still a battle that I face every single day, because I know where I want to be, the position I want to put my family and myself in. So even though it's not easy, and even though I still have faith, I would still say it's a challenge that I'm facing, just knowing what I can give to the world. And obviously I just haven't quite done that yet.
Biggest challenge is... That's a good question. The biggest challenge, maybe just trying to catch up with society, or just like trying to stay with the trends and everything. Very draining, I'll be real. Trying to stay with everyone and just being confident with yourself, doing things that you like for yourself, and just realizing like you're not in a race as well. It's a marathon. I'm trying to catch up. I'm not trying to make X money by this summer, 2025, 2026. It's all gonna happen in its own time as long as I put in the work.
It's you versus you. You get like you're you shouldn't be trying to compete with other people. Like, you need to just be becoming a better version of you.
Don't let the negative things that people say dim your light, and don't let people take your peace of mind away, really.
Someone's told me that there's no such thing as no. Like, it just means not yet or not right now. So just don't be disheartened when things don't go your way, because it's not a no for definite, it just means not right now.
Play the cards you're dealt. Like, we shouldn't think like, why is my life, I mean, our lives could be hard, but we all have different cards we're dealt that we can use to our advantage. For example, I used to live in the Middle East, Dubai, Qatar, and that's an advantage I have that I can use for when I finish my education. I'll go back there, my family's still there as well, go back there and work, get a good job. That's a card that I'll play.
This is funny. This is like a Jamaican saying. It goes two ways. It's like pressure busts pipe or pressure makes diamonds. And I feel like they're both two extremes, but at the same time, you pick which extreme you want to go for. It's either you burst under the pressure or you create something great from the pressure that you have.